Now let's look at the graph for the y equals cotangent x. Okay, cotangent x. So here the one thing I should have mentioned, sometimes we put this parenthesis here. That's okay. It means this is a function of x. Cotangent, C-O-T, is the name of the function like f of x, right? So it doesn't matter. Sometimes we put a parenthesis, sometimes not. Okay. So we know that the cotangent x equals cosine x over sine because it's equal to 1 over tangent, so it's cosine over sine. So you can see that one thing is the cotangent x is undefined if sine x equals 0. So when is sine x equals 0? Sine x equals 0, we know it's equal to n times pi, right? N is all integers. And so we have the vertical asymptote at x equals n pi. Okay, so it would be 0, pi, 2 pi, or negative 2, negative pi, negative 2 pi, and so on, right? And the second is when x equals cotangent x equals 0, if x cosine x equals 0, okay? So when the cosine x equals 0, cosine x equals 0, we know it's equal to x equals pi over 2 plus n pi, okay, n pi. So now let's look at the graph. Right, we just look at the graph. This is 0. So the vertical asymptote is y-axis. This is the 1, pi, right? 2 pi, and negative pi, if you want. This is negative 2 pi, right? So this is 0, pi, 2 pi, negative pi, negative 2 pi. Okay, and here is, so we have the different cycles, right? So we will focus on this cycle. This is called the principal cycle. Okay, and we still look at the midpoint, right, which is pi over 2, right? This is the x-intercept, right? X-intercept. The center is the x-intercept. And we have the halfway point, right? When x equals pi over 4. Cosine pi over 4, which is equal to 1. So this is the 1, for example. Sorry, cotangent pi over 4 equals 1 also. And we have the another way half a point between pi over 2 pi. This would be 3 pi over 4. 3 pi over 4 is also equal to 1. So it's here, right? Okay, so the graph is right, this is the graph. So this is the part for the principal cycle. So for other cycle, we just repeat it. This is the center. This is the center. This is the center. So the period is still pi, right? So now let's summarize. So the domain is the domain is all the value except at the vertical asymptote. So that is the set of x such x is not equal to n times pi. And the range is from negative infinity to infinity. And the period is pi. And our principal cycle is 0 to pi. And we have infinitely many vertical asymptote. So which is x equals n pi. And we have center points on each cycle, which are the x-intercepts. Right? We only have one, or we have no y-intercept. On each cycle, it is 1 to 1. And on each cycle, it is decreasing. Right? This is on each cycle, this is decreasing. Right? This is decreasing. This is decreasing, right? Oh, I forgot here for the tangent on each cycle, which is an increasing function, right? So we should say on each cycle, y equals tangent x is increasing function. Okay, and we have more on each cycle. Oh, yeah, and the graph, tangent, sorry. So this cotangent negative x equals negative cotangent x. So it's symmetrical with respect to the origin, right? So this point here and it corresponds to this point, right? So it's symmetric with respect to the origin. So now let's look at, we still look at this one. Y equals a times cotangent bx minus c, right? So here is, this one is the period, which is the original period pi divided by b. So this is the period, right? And here, if you write a cotangent, we take b out, x minus c over b. So this is c over b is called, so the c over b minus c over b on the x, right? So c over b is called the horizontal shift. So here we always assume b is greater than 0. If less than 0, just make it to be positive, right? You can take a negative out. Okay, horizontal shift c over b. So if c over b is positive, so we will shift the graph to the right, right? If c over b negative, so we will shift to the graph to the left. Okay, so now we use the example. Y equals 2 cotangent x over 3. So here is our period is we can see that the period is what is pi over 1/3. So this is the 3 pi, right? 3 pi. So our principal, if we want to sketch the graph, we need to know what is the principal cycle. The principal cycle, which is x over 3, should be between 0 and pi, right? So it implies that x should be between 0 and 3 pi. So 0, 3 pi would be the principal cycle. So we have the left asymptote, left vertical asymptote, which is x equals 0. And we have the right asymptote, which is x equals 3 pi. Right? So the center point is halfway between 0 and 3 pi. So this is in the middle point of the principal cycle. So this is the 3 pi over 2. And it's equal to 0. Value is 0, right? And we also need to look at the halfway point. Halfway points, okay, one halfway point is the middle point between 0 and 3 pi over 2. So x equals 0 plus 3 pi over 2 divided by 2, right? This is the way we find the middle point. So it's equal to 3 pi over 4. So the 2 times cotangent x over 3, it becomes 2 times cotangent 3 pi over 4 divided by 3. So it's the pi over 4. So you have 2, right? It's equal to 2. So the y value is equal to 2. So another half, so this is the one halfway point, 3 pi over 4 and 2. Another halfway point is the middle point between the 3 pi over 2 to 3 pi. Okay, so which is 3 pi over 2 plus 3 pi divided by 2, right? So this one is what? 9 pi over 4, right? So y equals the y values at this middle halfway point, it would be 2 times cotangent 9 pi over 4, then divided by 3. So this would be the what? Cotangent 3 pi over 4, right? 3 pi over 4 cotangent have the same sign as the tangent because it's 1 over tangent. So if we calculate, we need to find what? Find the reference angle, right? 3 pi over 4, the reference angle is pi over 4. So it's equal to cotangent pi over 4. Right, but it's positive negative. 3 pi over 4 in the second quadrant. Second quadrant tangent is negative, so cotangent is also negative, right? So it's negative here. So it's equal to -2. Okay, so our second halfway point, which is 9 pi over 4 and 2. So now let's summarize using the graph. We just need to look at 3 pi. Okay, we just draw the principal cycle. Other cycles we just repeated, right? So the next one should be what? Should be the 6, right? 6 pi. So here should be the -3 pi, right? So let's just draw the graph. So this is the center, which is 3 pi over 2, 0. And then we have the halfway point. This one would be the 3 pi over 4. So which is equal to 2. Okay. 1, 2. Sorry. Yeah, it's equal to negative. It's equal to 2, yes, 2. So it's 1, 2 is here. And we have this one, which is 9 pi over 4. It's equal to negative 2. 1, 2. So it's here. So the graph will look like right. Will look like this one. So you can see the curve. This is a curve up, and here curve down. Okay, so the other part is just repeated.